Nothing dropped their first ever flagship upon us, the Nothing Phone 3, and coming from a company that specializes in flagship killers, we really want to see if the Phone 3 can really stack up with two of the best bang for the buck phones out there, the OnePlus 13, a flagship from Carl Pei's previous company, and the Galaxy S25 Plus, a great all-rounder, both packing serious specs at a reasonable discounted price. We'll take a deep dive into the design, display, performance, cameras, and battery of these guys to find out which one is the smartest to buy. But vacation is calling, so my colleague Essie here will have to take care of this video, so be kind to him.
Hey, I'm Essie, your scriptwriter here at Verge.com, and I've never been in front of the cam, so don't go hard on me. And don't worry, Olive will be back in the very next video.
Adios!
Okay, let's just get this out of the way first. The Nothing Phone 3 kinda looks like what happens when you move a photo in Microsoft Word. And don't get us wrong, we totally appreciate the unique vibe of the previous Nothing designs, but this one might have pushed the different button a little too far. The OnePlus 13 and the Galaxy S25 Plus both lean to a more conservative look. All these phones are built with aluminum frames, but for the back, the Nothing and Galaxy are rocking glass, Gorilla Glass Victus on the Nothing and Victus 2 on the Galaxy. Our OnePlus, on the other hand, comes with vegan leather. In terms of weight, the Nothing is the heaviest at 219 grams, the OnePlus comes in at 212 grams, and the Galaxy is the lightest at 189 grams. As for dust and water protection, both the Nothing and Galaxy are IP68 rated, while the OnePlus 13 steps it up with IP69. That not only makes it submersible, but also resistant against high-pressure water jets, which means it should survive if you accidentally put it in the washing machine, just try not to. As always, let's check out with the team which design we like best.
The Galaxy. The Galaxy.
The Galaxy. The Galaxy. And what about you?
I'm gonna go for the OnePlus. Alright, now let's check out these displays. The Nothing rocks a flat 6.67-inch OLED screen, while the OnePlus comes with a curved 6.82-inch LTPO AMOLED panel. The Galaxy offers a flat 6.7-inch LTPO AMOLED display. All three support up to 120Hz refresh rate, but there's a key difference. The OnePlus and Galaxy can dynamically drop all the way down to 1 Hz, whereas the Nothing can only switch between 60Hz and 120Hz. We simulated sunlight at over 100,000 lux and measured how bright the screen typically gets, using a full widescreen. The Nothing was the brightest, hitting 1711 nits, the OnePlus reached 1064 nits, and the Galaxy 1631 nits, making both the Nothing and Galaxy the best for outdoor use. For security, all three come with an under-display fingerprint scanner. However, the Nothing uses an optical sensor, whereas both the OnePlus and Galaxy feature ultrasonic scanners, which have proven to be more reliable and faster. Now, for even more info on screen specs, including our measured peak brightness, feel free to pause the video right here. While all these screens are genuinely good, we slightly prefer displays on both the OnePlus and Galaxy, as both offer higher peak brightness levels. The only real differences that might sway your choice are that the OnePlus screen is curved but offers Dolby Vision, while the Galaxy doesn't support Dolby Vision but is flat. But screen's not everything, so let's check out the speakers on these phones. All three of these phones come equipped with stereo speakers, with one at the bottom and the second doubling as the earpiece. Here's an audio sample for you.
Give you that feeling, go hot, but the room is freezing. I'll be the reason that you might fall in love. Yeah, one look is just enough. So hold me in your arms and call me in the morning. Don't let anything stop you, babe.
As you just heard, the Nothing is for us the best here. It offers good bass and treble plus a solid volume level. The OnePlus 13 has decent bass but lacks treble, whereas the Galaxy on the other hand has good treble but falls short on bass. But now let's check out those cameras. For the main cameras, we got 50-megapixel shooters in all three phones. In outdoor shoots, all perform pretty good, with the Nothing offering a bit more background blur, whereas the Galaxy has better control over highlights. Indoors though, the Galaxy clearly runs into some white balance issues. Both the Nothing and OnePlus are more precise in the colors, however the Nothing really cranks up the saturation. Now, switching to the ultra-wide cameras, both the Nothing and OnePlus come with another 50-megapixel sensor, while the Galaxy packs a smaller 12-megapixel camera. In outdoor conditions, other than a slightly different white balance on the Galaxy, all photos look good. That said, but the Nothing and OnePlus are definitely definitely sharper. In indoor shots, this time is the OnePlus really pushing that saturation and contrast sliders all the way to the top. Both the Nothing and Galaxy look more natural. Switching to portrait mode, in this shot taken with the main lens, the Galaxy realistically blurs my arm, but we have to say the bokeh and white balance from the Nothing and OnePlus look more realistic overall. However, in this shot taken with the zoom lenses, the Galaxy definitely does the best job at edge detection, as it was the only one that correctly captured the umbrella shaft. Shifting gears to video, the Nothing can film at up to 4K 60fps resolution, while the OnePlus and Galaxy can film at up to 8K 30fps, but for all reviews, we always film at 4K 30fps. Here we have to say we prefer the Nothing's video, as it has a good level of contrast and the exposure better represents the moody vibe of the day. Both the OnePlus and Galaxy rise the exposure a little bit too much for our liking. Switching to ultra-wide video, the maximum available resolution in all phones is 4K 60fps, but again, we stick to 4K 30fps for our comparisons. Here all videos look pretty similar, all delivering good quality, but we have to say the Galaxy does offer a bit more detail and more importantly a wider field of view, so keep that in mind if you film a lot with this camera. However, something Nothing completely lacks is portrait video mode. Both the OnePlus and Galaxy offer it, and between these two, the Galaxy is straight up better, as the OnePlus video stutters way too much. Now flipping these phones around, we find another 15MP cam at the front of the Nothing, whereas the OnePlus comes with a 32MP sensor and the Galaxy has a 12MP one. Needless to say, the Nothing is definitely the sharpest one here, and while the Galaxy has correct colors, the contrast levels are a bit too low, making it look a little flat. In low light shots, however, it's pretty clear the OnePlus has a big advantage over the other two, as its photo looks really sharp and perfectly preserves that low light mood. For front camera video, all phones can output a maximum resolution of 4K 60fps, but you know the drill, all our videos are always filmed at 4K 30fps. This time around, the only good video comes from the Galaxy, as both the Nothing and OnePlus just lack from camera autofocus and also have really unstable exposure. So now we're gonna test the audio on all of these three phones, and we're gonna start with the Nothing Phone 3. How's the audio in this phone? Is it okay? As you can see, there are quite some cars passing behind. Now we're gonna move to the OnePlus 13. How is the audio in this one? It's raining, as you can see, in the summer. And next we're gonna check the audio on the Galaxy S25 Plus. Is it any better than on the other two? Well, let's just talk about it now. As you could hear, the Galaxy is the best at putting your voice front and center, as it almost completely blocked the city noise in the background in this busy scene. Moving on to zoom, both the Nothing and OnePlus have 50MP shooters, while the Galaxy has a rather small 10MP cam. All lenses have identical 3x optical zoom. Now this is an example of photos taken at optical zoom distances, and you can just see how much sharper the Nothing and OnePlus are. That sharpness holds pretty much the same at 10x zoom too. However, at 20x zoom, the OnePlus definitely delivers the best shot thanks to some AI enhancement help, which you can also see at the maximum zoom levels, though this time we kinda prefer the Nothing's shot. In any case, if you're planning on using that telephoto lens a lot, just don't get the Galaxy S25 Plus. But now let's kill the lights and dive into the darkness just like Alan Wake. With the main camera, you can see the Galaxy captures far more detail in the darker areas, however, the OnePlus does have a bit more accurate colors. With the ultra-wide cameras, sharpness really takes a hit across the board. If anything, the Nothing photo has more accurate white balance, though it's definitely oversaturated. The photos with the telephoto lenses also look rather rough in these conditions, though if we had to choose, we'd think the OnePlus looks the best here. Finally, let's check out some videos, starting with the main camera. Here, as you can see, the Nothing captures far more detail compared to the other two, however, the colors look really desaturated and cold toned. With the ultra-wide cam, it's pretty much the same story, the Nothing capturing the most shadow detail, but interestingly, this time the colors look much more true to life. So there you have it. In terms of camera performance, all these phones do pretty well, though they all have their distinct strengths and shortcomings. If we had to pick one, then Nothing will be our choice, as it proves to be quite reliable in most scenarios. But now let's pop the hood and check the performance of these machines. The Nothing Phone 3 packs a Snapdragon 8S Gen 4, the OnePlus 13 carries Snapdragon 8 Elite, and the Galaxy S25 Plus comes with Snapdragon 8 Elite 4 Galaxy, which has 2 overclocked Prime cores. For RAM, our Nothing and OnePlus units come with 16GB, where our Galaxy sports 12GB. Here you can also check out the other RAM and storage options available, though availability really depends on where you're buying. But to really see what these phones can do, we'll throw them into some real-world testing, starting with gaming. We'll run 30-minute sessions with cooldown downtime in between. First up, Grid Legends. We tweaked the settings file to unlock 60 FPS in graphics mode since it's capped at 40 by default. Here, the Galaxy showed the best performance, only dropping to 57 FPS and keeping a good temperature of 42 degrees Celsius. The worst by far was the Nothing. Despite multiple attempts, it just couldn't even finish a 30-minute round. The phone overheated every single time, reaching a dangerously hot 62 degrees Celsius. We really hope Nothing notices this and fixes it ASAP. Next, we launched Wuthering Waves and cranked the graphics all the way up. And ironically, this time the Nothing was the most stable, only dropping to 56 FPS. However, the OnePlus kept a relatively colder temperature of 48 degrees Celsius. Then we fired up Bloon's TD6 and flooded the screen with thousands of units to really stress the CPUs. Even though all phones took a hard hit here, the Galaxy sustained the load better, only dropping to 6 FPS. It was, however, the hottest at 48 degrees Celsius. Moving on from gaming, we exported 99 photos in Lightroom. The OnePlus took the lead this time, finishing in 3 minutes and 43 seconds, almost a full minute quicker than the Galaxy. Next, we rendered a 3-minute 4K 30fps video in CapCut, and this is really proving to be a tie race, because once again the Galaxy took the lead, finishing the render in just 38 seconds. Just for fun, we also opened a massive Microsoft Excel file with over 4 million cells. The OnePlus really didn't want to be left behind and pushed ahead, opening the file in 8 seconds. Both the Nothing and Galaxy come in 3 seconds behind. Now let's check out some benchmarks. In Geekbench 6, the Galaxy scored the highest in both single and multi-core, with the OnePlus following close behind. The Nothing was left in the dust though, with more than 3,000 points behind in multi-core compared to the Galaxy. In 3D Mark's Wildlife Extreme Stress Test, the Galaxy scored the highest in the best loop, but the OnePlus did much better in the lowest loop score, meaning it has less throttling. The Nothing, well, once again it overheated every single time we tried to run the benchmark, reaching a scorching 58 degrees Celsius, which needless to say is nothing normal. And as we said before, we really hope Nothing addresses this, because that's just not safe. Moving on to Antutu, once again the Galaxy spat out the highest score with more than 2.3 million points. The Nothing, however, was second this time, followed closely by OnePlus. So as you can see, both the OnePlus 13 and the Galaxy S25 Plus are your best bets if all you need is unlimited power. Both perform really well in gaming, everyday tasks, and benchmarks. The Nothing Phone 3, however, showed that it has some really concerning overheating problems with graphically demanding games. I mean, of all the phones we have tested, it has been the absolute hottest one, and not in a good way. The Nothing comes with Nothing OS 3.5, the OnePlus rolls with Oxygen OS 15, and the Galaxy S25 Plus rocks One UI 7, all of them based on Android 15. As for software support, Nothing offers 5 years of OS updates and 7 years of security patches. OnePlus only offers 4 years of OS updates but 6 years of security updates. Samsung takes the crown here with 7 years of both OS and security updates, which honestly should be the norm nowadays. Now, Nothing OS has this minimalist monochrome thing going on that we seriously dig, as it really sets it apart from all those iOS-inspired UIs out there. It's packed with a bunch of original widgets, cool resizable tiles in the settings panel, and of course the AI-powered Essential Space, which is accessible with this very oddly placed key right next to the power button. Here you can store everything you want to remember later. And of course, we haven't forgotten about the new glyph matrix on the back that replaces the old glyph light. This small monochrome display can show you patterns for different notifications, timers, battery level, or even gimmicky glyph toys that you're probably gonna use once and then forget about. Next up, Oxygen OS is also one of our favorite Android UIs, which has seen a huge improvement in its latest version. It offers butter smooth animations and probably the best and easiest multitasking solution on any phone out there. On top of that, you also get practical features like live alerts or the AI editor in the Galaxy to effortlessly erase objects and reflections, or even enhance some low-res memes. Finally, One UI also got a big makeover with version 7, bringing fresh new icons and animations. Unlike Nothing OS or Oxygen OS, it does come with a bit of bloatware, but you can easily uninstall it. Samsung is betting hard on AI with a bunch of AI-assisted features like Now Brief, which gives you contextual information about your day, or the multiple editing tools in the gallery like Generative Edit or Sketch to Image to really pimp your photos. On top of all of this, all three phones have access to both Circle to Search and Google Gemini. But enough about software, now let's move on to our very last category. Inside the Nothing, we have a 5150 mAh silicon carbon battery. The OnePlus packs an even bigger 6000 mAh silicon carbon cell, while the Galaxy has a more traditional 4900 mAh lithium-ion battery. For wired charging speeds, Nothing tops out at 65 watts, the OnePlus can hit 100 watts, and the Galaxy stays behind at 45 watts. For wireless charging, we've got 15 watt speeds in both the Nothing and Galaxy, while OnePlus dominates with 50 watts. All three also support both wired and wireless reverse charging. In our charging test using a 100 watt charger, the Nothing proved to be the quickest to complete a full charge in only 58 minutes, reaching 59 watts. However, it was immediately followed by the OnePlus at 59 minutes, hitting 43 watts. The Galaxy took its time completing using up its battery in 1 hour and 22 minutes, reaching 24 watts. Now, here's where all that we've seen before will really come into perspective, because the brand new Nothing Phone 3 retails at full price for $799, the OnePlus 13 can be found for around $850, and the Galaxy S25 Plus at around $800, both being only about 6 months old, and both prices are before any trade-in offers. Putting all the pieces together, the Nothing Phone 3 comes across as a flagship with just too many compromises. It's not a bad phone per se, but at its full price, it just can't compete with the value that the OnePlus 13 or Galaxy S25 Plus are offering right now. It's also pretty ironic to see a brand that specializes in flagship killers being killed by flagships. Maybe it's the OnePlus story happening all over again. Time will definitely tell. However, if you're absolutely set on getting the Nothing Phone 3, we'd strongly suggest you wait for a discount for the sake of your wallet. Of course, you can find links to any of these 3 phones in the description below. Oh, and if you want to see how the Nothing Phone 3 fares against the rest of the Nothing 2025 lineup, you better tap on this video right here. And before you go play Counter-Strike 2, don't forget to give us a big thumbs up and hit subscribe, as we're always testing new devices to help you make the best choice. We'll see you in our next video, and until then,
Take care.